Welcome to this week's video. My name is Tracy, and if this is your first time seeing one of my videos, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here today. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over exactly the steps you need to follow in order to thrift for a profit. So let's go ahead and get started with step number 1. The first step is finding the products to resell. And there are several different options for sourcing or for gathering products in order to resell those products to make a good profit. The first, most obvious, is thrift stores. We know that thrifting is a big thing today, and you know, some of the most obvious ones are places like Goodwill, but I encourage you to check out some of those smaller stores. Just because they aren't as big or they're not like a chain doesn't mean they don't have some great treasures for you to find. So thrift stores is our first area that we can look for. Second thing, we can look, of course, at yard sales. There are yard sales going on all the time. Now with yard sales, it is smart to get there early so that you can kind of get the cream of the crop, but don't not go to a yard sale because it's later in the day. I have found some really good things that I have flipped for a profit later in the day. So yard sales are number 2. Number 3, estate sales. I love estate sales. If you are someone who enjoys thrifting vintage items, estate sales are great for that. They're great for that. And something to remember about estate sales is if you go on maybe the first day and you feel like the prices are a little high, most estate sales will have a half off day or a discounted day the second or even third day. So keep that in mind. What I like to do is I like to go to estate sales on the first day and get those things that I know won't be around for long. And then I eye the things that I would be willing to pay half price for if they're still available. And then I just return on those sales days to pick up those items. Last but not least, don't think that you cannot go to retail stores or especially outlets to find things to thrift for a profit. A lot of times you are able to get some great deals on items at outlet stores, especially if they're maybe even running a sale on top of a really, really good discount. So outlet stores are another great source for thrifting. Alright, you have your item. So how do you determine if it's worth purchasing to thrift and flip for a profit? Well, here's the first thing I do. I use Google. Google, my phone and Google are my friend. So if you go to the Google website, you're going to see that in the search bar there is a little camera feature. This is very, very helpful. When I am at the thrift store, what I like to do is if I see something that I think might thrift well for a profit, I will use my phone, pull up my Google, snap a picture, take a picture of the item I'm looking at, and that is going to bring up any time that that specific product has been listed, like on eBay, Poshmark, maybe even Etsy, and it is going to show you the different prices that people are asking for that particular profit. Now we don't want to stop there because really technically anyone can ask any price for anything. We need to take it one step further. We need to do something which is called checking for comps. So how do I check for comps? Well, I do that through the eBay website. And what I do is I go to whatever product that I'm looking at on the eBay website. I'm going to pull up anything similar to that product that is being sold on eBay. And let me kind of walk you through what you do. So you're going to go to eBay, and let's say that I am looking, let me think of something I could be looking up. I am looking up vintage, since it's coming up on Christmas, let's do Christmas. Vintage Santa figurine. And I pull up the vintage Santa figurines, and it's going to tell me at the bottom how many are listed, a total of how many are listed. What I want to do is I want to go to the top right corner where it says filter, and I want to scroll down. You're going to have to click show more. I'm going to scroll down and click where it says sold items. Sold items. That is going to bring up all of the items that have been sold, vintage Santa figurines, in the past 90 days. It is going to tell me when they sold and exactly the amount that they sold for. It also tells me the date that they sold, and that is how you run comps. You want to compare how many of a certain item, how many of those are listed versus how many of those have actually sold. Now, if there are tons and tons and tons and tons listed and none have sold, that's usually when I decide to leave an item behind, because lots of people are listing that item. It's kind of like thinking about supply and demand. A lot of people are listing that item, but not many people are purchasing it. So here's when you have a great situation. When you pull up an item and there are only a few of those items listed, but there are lots and lots that are sold, that means that item is in high demand. So that's a good thing. And listing comps is as easy as that. Okay, so those of you who know me, you know that I have an owl box. That it's a screech owl box, and I have a male owl that comes every year. His name is Dwight, and I have not seen Dwight in a while, and I thought, well, I'm going to clean out the owl box just to make sure it's nice and clean in case Dwight wants to come back. Well, I think I have discovered the issue. Let me show you. There is a possum. Look at his little hand. See his little hand? There, let me get, hang on, here. There is a possum who has taken up residence in Dwight's house. Look, oh, he's mad. He is mad. He's mad. Okay. I'm going to push this back. Actually, I'm going to leave this like that because I want this little guy to exit the premises because I want Dwight to come back. So I'm going to leave this little part open. Well, I don't know what to do. What do you guys think I should do? Should I shut it so he climbs out the top? I want to squish him. But I don't want him to like climb out the top later and this thing to be moving. Okay. Hang on. Let's hold the camera. Shut this up. Okay. So I got it latched back. I'll keep y'all updated on Operation, what's it called when you kick somebody out? Shoot. Kick out. You guys know what I mean. Like if I was kicking out a tenant or something. Operation Ask Mr. Possum to move on outside of the outhouse. So I'll keep y'all posted. So those are a few basics when it comes to finding items and deciding if those are going to be good potential items to thrift, list, and then flip for a big profit. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I encourage you to do so. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time.